is buzzing here at Welford Road. A handful of stats that need overturning from a Leicester perspective. 1 Premiership win here in their last 6. 21 defeats in their last 32 in all. 1 win over Exeter in their last 6 Premiership meetings. Luke Pearce, the man with a whistle. Tigers won the toss. They will kick off. And the Chiefs will play from left to right in this opening period. George Ford, ball in hand, ready to go, ready for the off, ready for the showdown. Taken in by the captain, Slade. Bottled up by his England teammate, Dan Cole. He'll be tested today at scrum time by Ben Moon, and a wonderful matchup between Genge and Williams as well, which we had a little taster of pre-match.
Okay, Exeter, you use it. Stay on side, Ben.
Jack Maunder at 9. Nick White having the weekend off, so a chance for the youngster. And that's going to land into the open spaces, taken by Woodburn, who has to tidy up himself. Here's Armand. Not a huge amount of game time for Don Armand this season. There is a real competition for places in that Exeter back row. Again, it's Slade on the carry.
Just think this might be an Exeter tactic. We know Leicester lacking in confidence. They'll want to keep hold of the ball and not let Leicester get an early shot into the game. 5-10 minutes, Leicester start to get frustrated, start to think the same old thing. They'll use their box kicks when they need to, but they won't be in a rush to get rid of the ball.
Maunder again to the air. Chasing in is Vayano at high speed. He's commanding that airspace and claiming it on the 10-metre line. First chance, ball in hand for the Tigers. Noel Reid slips past the tackle. Ford pumps it through. There was a ricochet there. Nightfall for Tuolangi. Lovely bit of footwork. Johnny May's onto it. White shirts all around him. And he's flattened, and the ball is dislodged by Janis Kirsten.
Advantage Exeter.
Stuart Hogg.
Advantage over.
Done very well to get that away. That is an outstanding clearance. Austin.
Well, it's just a chance, wasn't it, for Johnny May? Opportunity, really. Did really well to get on the ball in the first place. And then as it comes to the outside, this is the take from Viano. This is really good. You've got to be careful with him, that you make sure he's down, because he's seen a few times. It looks like you've got him held and he breaks through. It's not a bad start from Leicester.
Taken in by Lavanini of Leicester. Of course, the villain of the piece between England and Argentina at the World Cup in Japan. Sent off after just 17 minutes of that pool match. And here's Will Spencer, bruising presence at lock, and that pairing could really do some damage if it gets some game time together. Lavanini and Spencer driven up here by Vayanu. Ford, and onwards for Taufua, bouncing off the challenge of Harry Williams.
Gets away with it.
Here's Genge, taken on the gain line by Vermeulen, but Cole is carrying it strong.
Really good line speed from the Chiefs, forcing Tigers back. And they've got one off ball carriers. It's difficult to get momentum at this breakdown. Might be time for a little kick or a little offload. It's the only way to get through.
Penalty to Exeter.
Brilliant. I think it was Armand who just stepped back. He's getting a high five from a couple of his teammates. He looks like he's going in to compete, and we know what a threat he is over the ball, so he fakes to go in, takes a step back. Look, watch, straight back to it. He sees him coming, takes a step back, and Callum Mahoney goes off his feet and over the top. Luke Pearce straight to the whistle.
And it will be the Slade boot that is targeting that 5-metre line. Become something of a speciality of his. Is not all the way up there, but it's not too far away.
We talked about Leicester picking Callum Green at 6, maybe a few eyebrows raised, and part of that would have been Leicester's line out, but also they know the threat that the Chiefs pose on the driving maul, and just some extra ballast, extra weight, and also some extra aerial threat defensively.
Here's Elvis Tayoni. And it's a cheeky one, and Kvesic has come charging through. He's got to within 5 metres. Brought down by Kalamafoni.
Advantage, offside.
For Mullen with a penalty advantage here. Tigers offside. Free shot here for the visitors. Moon scored a couple recently. Ben Moon, after a drought of a very long time indeed, and they are bearing down on that Leicester try line in very familiar fashion here, Exeter. Utterly ruthless from this range. Usually, and once more, they've squirmed over. And it's the big South African at the bottom of the pile, Janus Kirsten, with 5 minutes on the clock. Exeter doing what they do best.
It just shows the danger of giving away a penalty in the middle section of the field for Leicester, because every time Rob Baxter allows his team to back themselves, they go into the corner. And here's that penalty. Not having his head up, Kalamafoni. And then from the resulting line out, just that patience that Exeter have been so good at. Try the little move around the front. And that pick and go game.
Clear from me,
Genge can't get forward enough. They'd already given away 2 penalties for offside. Maybe that in the back of his mind.
7 points up, 5 minutes gone. Austin.
And one thing you've got to do against the Chiefs is you've got to box clever. Whether you're up for the game, you've got to really think about what you're doing. It's Ellis Genge, actually, who comes around the corner by himself. In this scenario, you've got to step over it. If you go by yourself with no support against the play, you've either got to make a break or do something different, because what it means is all support players are too far away. And that means Kalamafoni's got to accelerate an extra 5 yards. That's where he loses his balance. That's where he loses the penalty. It's not Kalamafoni's fault, it's Ellis Genge's.
First try for Exeter for Janus Kirsten since arriving. Slade, decent connection on the run, taking play beyond the 10-metre line. There's Kirsten, one of the South Africans, alongside Jacques Vermeulen, who's really been stirring things up in training at Sandy Park. Drafted in to add to the bulk and the muscle. Youngs to Ford to Reed. Brought down by Slade on halfway. Decent burst here from Lavanini.
Advantage, Leicester.
And Ben Young's boxing clever on that occasion. They've got it to Veyanu on the wide outside. Lovely bit of footwork, holding up the man. Thompson inside ball. Here's May. That's as good as Leicester have been all season. Johnny May for the Tigers. And the spark lit by Veyanu.
Oh, the acceleration of Veyanu is stunning. It's almost like a power-up in a computer game. Just watch this, hands. They know they've got the advantage. He manages to get around Kvesic, so that's the key. If Kvesic gets there, it's still a 2-on-2. But just manages to elude his despairing dive. And then it's about patience back on the inside. Little basketball pass over the top to Johnny May in support, and then May pointed to the centre of the post by Ben Youngs.
Now, play on. Agreed, Kitty?
Agree.
Let's go. Checked it.
Well, Luke Pearce has said he's happy.
It's close, isn't it?
Rowan Kitt, the TMO, just ensuring that Luke Pearce had all the available options, all the available angles.
I think the initial pace from Veyanu. Initial pace from Veyanu just means that the defenders are stressed a little bit more.
It's a really flat pass that scorts it, but actually it's Witten on the wing, playing slightly out of position, steps in. What he's doing is he's looking at Manu Tuolangi in that scenario, and the pass goes straight across him, and we know what happened after that.
Underway again inside the Tigers 22, level on the scoreboard, and one or two Tigers fans just resting a little bit easier. And a fine clearance from George Ford.
One player who started well for Leicester is Noel Reid. He's straightened really well. We thought Manu Tuolangi would be running a lot of those close lines off Ford. Reid more of a ball player, but he's been doing that role.
Tayoni to Johnny Hill, and there's a decent leg drive here from Witten. Taken up by Vermeulen. Maunder. Slade changing the angle of things to that short side. Wrapped up. Trying to pinch meters through the middle of the ruck here, Exeter. Taufua looking to hold things up. Hill driven back convincingly by Cole. Tayoni, Steenson, that's in behind Hogg. There's work to be done here for Hogg. Drawing into Alangi. Woodburn alongside him to help with the clear out. It's a tricky ball for Maunder, did well to get that away. And Tayoni can set the target again.
Brilliant from Maunder, that. Leicester making a lot of the breakdowns a mess, which is what you need to do against the Chiefs.
Old school dive pass, don't see many of those these days. Here's Johnny Hill beyond halfway for Exeter. Caught this time. Vermeulen struggling through the contact, and the Tigers doing enough.
I was just thinking that Leicester maybe were a little bit of short numbers on this open side. Exeter seemed to have loads, but perhaps the reason was they hadn't put enough resources into the breakdown to make that clear out.
Does well, Calamafoni, to ride the challenge in the tackle, keep his feet on the ground just long enough to get his hands on the ball. But that is the tactic, isn't it, against the Chiefs? You either starve them of possession or you give them possession and make every ruck really difficult for the 9 to get the ball away, particularly if he's a younger, less experienced 9. There's the tackle. You watch how Calamafoni gets hit from the side, just there long enough before his foot comes off the ground. Not really on the ball, actually.
It's Jordan Taufua.
That's Taufua, yeah.
Here's the man signed over the summer from the Crusaders. Played against the Lions a couple of years ago in 2017. First outing at Welford Road, and the line out not altogether slick.
That's an understatement, Ali.
Well, they won the ball, which is the most important thing. Calamafoni is there for Cole and Tom Youngs, who of course saw red against Exeter here back in April when they shipped 50 points. Ford is off, jinking. Ben Youngs just holding on to it a split second, releases Spencer. And now moved away from Vayanu, who's causing all kinds of bother for Exeter already this afternoon. Ford. Spencer. Youngs running straight into Armand, who's trapped. George Ford, crossfield kick, there's space out there. Taufua is waiting for it. He's gathered it. Oh, yes! Listen to the roar. No more popular scorer than Jordan Taufua. Merciless in his finishing.
They're getting Witten out on that wing. He comes up very hard. Taufua stays wide. We know what he can do in Super Rugby. He's used to an open game with lots of kick passes, crossfield kicks, and George Ford, one of the very best at executing it, puts it on a plate, and what a big charge to get himself over the line and pretty much under the sticks again.
Taufua reads it so well. It's one thing having the execution on the kick, but you have to have someone on the end of it. He took it unbelievably well. And then as Hogg managed to make up the ground, you then wish that he hadn't.
Oh, my Lord. That was some collision. And George Ford adds the extras. 14 points to 7 they lead at home. Austin.
Yeah, you got to give Ford a load of credit here as well. He spots that Hogg's really central. Normally in this scenario, you wink your fullback slightly further over towards the touchline, but he's way too central. That means he has to take the kick on. And what a carry that is for a try.
Claimed well by Spencer.
Okay, Leicester, use it.
Johnny May on the chase. In comes Hogg. Harry Williams Strong carry, but getting no change out of Lavanini. Here's Hogg. And he spilt it. And Noel Reid has it for Leicester. Tuolangi beyond halfway. Lavanini already showing himself to be a willing carrier. Ford thumps it in behind Witten, who scurries back. Oh, look at that. Just on the end of a piece of string.
The brilliance of that from Ford is Leicester were on the front foot, but as they came down the blind side, there was a big white wall in front of him. You can see, had he passed that on, the forwards would have got hit with 2-3 tacklers. Don't have to force it. Put the pressure back on Exeter.
There's three things in that to really appreciate. One, the execution's fantastic. Two, it's the right decision. But moreover, it's the understanding of the Welford Road crowd. When you get them going, keep them going, keep them going, keep the energy up. It really drives the team.
Well, they've got them in the palm of their hand at the moment. It's a question of sustaining it, though, isn't it? The Chiefs will come back. They will have their own purple patches.
You can see how calm they look, the Chiefs. They're not rattled at all by this. All 100% sure of their roles and what they do in every part of the pitch. Might be a quite simple game plan, but they are probably the most effective team at carrying out their own game plan and everyone knowing their roles and sticking to them.
Maunda, a little bit of heat coming on from Spencer. He's come backwards off Exeter, and Dan Cole quickest to react. And Taufu is feeding it onwards. Ford's throwing the dummy. Youngs taken low by Maunda. Taufu again. And again, finding an extra metre through the tackle from Moon. Genge, ball lost in contact. Steenson. Woodburn. They have the advantage, of course, from the knock-on. Here's Vermeulen.
Okay, advantage over.
Maunda to the short side. Here's Devoto. Missing for a few weeks owing to a neck problem. Kirsten, already a try scorer. Maunda's been bundled off the ball. It's Leicester ball.
A little bit of afters from Ellis Genge, just being calmed down by George Ford there. Dan Cole in on the ball. Maunda goes searching for it.
I'm all for Ellis putting pressure on the 9 because that's part of rugby. He's just got to be careful how far he goes with it.
Is that the same for them? Because
of course it is.
what do you mean? What did he
Just when he
I
shuts
think
in the back
the
of the ruck, it's not very sportsmanlike. It's all good putting pressure on.
Yeah.
It is. So just be careful. That's what I'm saying.
And you don't want it, it's fine, mate.
Thank you.
Just calm down a little, what you're saying. But I think that all comes from Dan Cole's ability to get over the ball and turn over. If that's not seen, not given, you can't play the 9 like that and get away with it.
Okay, just gone across.
But just look at the breakdown. There's 4 or 5 people in there throwing your bodies in. For Maunda, it's really tough to get the ball away.
Particularly when you've got Ellis Genge in your face. So, 17 minutes gone. Tigers 14-7 up. Round 6, of course, continues all through this afternoon elsewhere, and indeed tomorrow from the Medeski, where London Irish will take on Bath from 2:30. BT Sport 1 and BT Sport Ultimate. And that's immediately followed by Gallagher Premiership tonight from 5:15. Wayne Barnes is our guest. So get your questions in for that show. Rugby tonight on tour. Christmas Day, 8 o'clock. Christmas special, looking back at the year so far. And then Friday at 10 o'clock. Stop the Tour, which is BT Sport films how sport helped bring an end to apartheid in South Africa, paving the way for the likes of Siya Kolisi, the Springbok skipper, the first ever black South African captain. Friday at 10 o'clock. Scrum penalty here to add to the cheer inside Welford Road. Leicester are enjoying their work.
Well, Ellis Genge talked it up before the game. It's his battle with Williams. Genge gets the snap. Williams is in a really good body position, nice and low. But as the pressure continues, Don't underestimate the forces that are coming through. Ellis Genge as well. Big second row pairing of Lavanini and Spencer. And in the end, Williams has to slide his feet back to keep his shape, and he goes down onto his chest. See how low they are. He's a big prop, Williams. He probably doesn't want to be scrimmaging quite that low, but Genge knows that.
Of course.
And he's enjoyed that, Ellis Genge. Sent the letter, allegedly, to Harry Williams ahead of this contest, knowing what was coming. So he's talked the talk, and he's backed it up in that scrum at least. And Leicester are threatening again. Lavanini pops it to Ben Youngs. Here's Manu Tuolangi. This is what Leicester should be all about. Ben Youngs again whips it away. Lavanini on the carry, as he has been so many times in this opening quarter.
Good work.
Cole. Calamafoni. Genge again. Cut off at the ankles. Ford feeding to Alangi. On the outside is May. Got to get past Horgan, friends. Johnny May, I think. Oh, he's claiming it. That will need checking. Hell of a finish if he's managed that.
Well, the cover was outstanding from the Chiefs. I thought they'd got them
On-field try, check
from the angle we had.
Correct.
Let's check.
Kitty.
Feet
Got you,
first.
mate.
On-field try, just check touch. And no knock on, please.
Does that foot? He certainly grounds it, but we'll have to check whether one of his feet brushes the line. This will give us the angle. Not yet, not yet. No, it doesn't. It misses.
It's a mark
It's a try.
It's
What
a mark
a finish. What a finish that is.
But look what he does with his right leg. He bends his right leg to get away from the line. Does that touch?
Yeah, agree. There's no problem with the grounding. You
So
can
no touch, try is fine, so try stats.
exactly.
That is world class. Johnny May, second of the match. And look what it's done to this place. I haven't heard Welford Row like this in months, possibly even years, Austin.
It's a little stop and go from Ford. It sets the defensive line, turns everybody in, and then Manu Tuolangi gets to the outside. Yes, it needs an unbelievable finish, but the space is created by the brilliance of Ford. His ability to just confuse the third and fourth defender in front of him, create space on the outside. It's exactly what the Welford Road faithful wanted.
I don't think Maunder could have done any more. He flew in, big hit. He just didn't have quite enough to drag him into touch.
Not quite the kick, but 19 points to 7 against last year's finalists after 20 minutes. And Johnny May, what a display of finishing this is. Look where he hit the deck. Some 3.5 metres out with 3 defenders onto him.
It's very efficient from Leicester. 4 visits, 3 tries into the red zone. I don't think they could have wanted a better start. Maybe a clean sheet, but I think they'll take that at the minute.
Falls off again, sensing an opportunity. Genge is bustling forwards. That's loose, though. Thompson is running into trouble.
Come back for a knock-on.
Back to the knock-on. Scrum Leicester. I know your brother was as well.
We're inside, yeah?
Yeah, just inside.
Woodburn just wins. Johnny May makes the call. Just having a chat with Spencer there. He said it's mine. And I think Spencer saying, well, if you call it's yours, you've got to make sure you get it.
Space, please.
Let's have a quick word with Jordan Murphy, the Tigers director of rugby. Jordan, 3 tries in this opening blistering spell. I mean, this has been as good as you'd played for a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit disappointed that we gave Exeter the field position to do what we know they're very good at very early. We played a little bit too much rugby in our own half and 8-9 phases, and we were naive with the breakdown. So disappointed to have conceded, but we know we've got some firepower in this team. We know if we hold on to the ball and they get on the front foot that we're dangerous.
And given how significant it is to have your crowd behind you like this, how important to sustain this kind of pressure?
Yeah, it's important. You know, it's a big game for us. It's important that we perform very, very well. We've obviously sorry, I'm just going to see what that decision was. Yeah, no, it's one of those massive moments for us, and we need to keep the pressure on Exeter. We need to keep playing. We can't sit back.
Thanks for your time, Jordan.
Cheers, guys.
We spoke about scrumming in the air. No, it needs to be on my speed, Tom, please.
Yes, the Genge has to engage.
I know, but then let's not lean on people. Let's hold your weight on your feet, on the bind.
So another chance to admire the contest.
Slow cadence, adjust to it.
Between Genge and Williams, between Moon and Cole, and those sandwiched in between.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Clean hook, Youngs to Youngs, and Youngs again. And that's a neat little grubber through. Tuolangi hurtling after it. In comes Hogg. Gathered clean. Steenson sets off into open spaces. Not quite the communication there. Witten's in a degree of trouble. Thompson straight onto him. Here's Kvesic. What Tigers seem to have done very, very well is starve Exeter of possession. 61% in Tigers' hands through the course of this match. To this point. Maunda for Slade. And Vayanu having to cover the ground, and that is measured beautifully by Slade.
That is brilliant.
Touched by the ball boy.
Vayanu absolutely flying to try and get there. Couldn't be more accurate.
Yeah, it's absolutely as good as the forward kick just a handful of moments ago. 19 points to 7. Just to put this in context, to this day, Leicester had scored 5 tries in their 5 Premiership matches. They've scored 3 in 21 minutes here. The attack suddenly bursting into life.
Ball in 5, line out over.
Again, it's Lavanini who's
Don't change on the outside.
causing trouble at set piece and in the loose. Youngs did well to get that away.
He did, but that's something that needs looking at in the law book. You can't be bound to the maul at the back, not release your bind, and then as they go to the box kick, decide that you're onside. It's ridiculous. I know we're having a chat tomorrow night about some of the laws we'd like to change. I'll certainly put that in there, and also not allow any forwards on the pitch.
You wouldn't have a say in that, Austin.
Slightly controversial. Here is Ollie Devoto using Witten. Hogg involved in Woodburn looking to step. Vayanu's having none of it. Straight back to his feet to contest as well. Kvesic, inside ball for Williams. In comes Tuolangi with force. Steenson. Slade running a nice line. Here's Witten. Support on the outside from Devoto. Trying to barrel his way through George Ford. Ball is there for Maunda. Here's Tyone. A little bit isolated, and Cole's in over the top of it. Armand. Again, could do with some support. Witten arrives. Slade. Pops it on its way. Some crunching hits coming in here from Leicester as Exeter look to turn the screw. Here's Stuart Hogg stepping and skipping free, and he's within 5 metres. Maunda fires it wide. Steenson smashed in the tackle by Kalamafoni. Kvesic. 1 more metre to find.
Got to be clever here, Leicester now. This is where the Chiefs are so good. Sometimes it's better to concede the ground and go for the 5-metre scrum if you can hold them up.
Here's Armand. He's there. Don Armand has Exeter's second. As if they were going to lie down.
Oh, that's just brilliant by the Chiefs.
Hold on. It's a fair point. I think it's an on-field try, so I'll check it just in case.
He's just going to check it. Ellis Genge thought he got his hand underneath, begged the referee to have a look at the TMO.
I'm quite content that the ball's on the line, but one is very, very adamant that his hand's underneath it, so I just want to double-check it's right, please.
Got it.
It is underneath there, isn't it? He's absolutely right. Is there any point of the ball that's touching the line? On-field decision is a try.
He's right, you know.
I think Ellis Genge has got a point here.
Like you said, maybe just the point of the ball on the other side of his arm.
He's actually got both under there, has he?
This angle might give us a better idea.
No.
That's
Just on
exceptional.
that last angle there, Kitty, is his forearm under the ball there?
I think his hand slips off at the end, though. I think his hand, if you watch it a bit longer now, when he first hits, yes, definitely off the ground now. But watch his hand now, it just slips to the side. I think that's tough, really tough.
Difficult one for Rowan Kitt or TMO.
OK, Luke, got a decision for you.
Go ahead, mate.
His hand is under there to begin with,
Yeah.
but then slips away and the ball is over the line. So it is a
Okay.
try.
So we stick with the on-field and it's a try,
Stick
yeah?
with the on-field try.
Okay, so Tom, we checked it. He does make a good effort of holding it up, but we believe he slips over and scores it. Fine. All right, that's our decision.
Genge unhappy. Well, he did everything he could.
He did. It was brilliant from Genge, but I was just talking before we went to the TMO. So typical of Exeter. They had to work really hard to get themselves into that 5-metre channel.
Come on, there you go.
And then once they're there, everyone goes through their drills, gets it absolutely spot on, inch by inch, they get over the line. But well, just when they look like they were going to get bundled into touch on the 22, they keep it in field.
Well, they've been on the end of some high-quality Leicester play today, but the Chiefs are within 5, thanks to their second score from Don Armand. Boiling up nicely, this one.
Just, I think Jordan Murphy said, field position against Exeter more than any other team. That reigns true. Because if they're in your 22, they are brutal, never let you off the hook, phase after phase, and more often than not come away with 7 points.
Slade again, the man to gather. Vayanu. Tuolangi. Oh. Slade brought him down. No point trying to make a dominant hit there. You just soak what you can. And he did it very effectively.
Tied his shoelaces together, didn't he? Brilliant. What a tackle.
That was something else. Genge smashed in the tackle by Kirsten. Back goes Reed. Pressure from Moon. Leicester have to just pay attention and keep their focus at all times.
They've got an advantage for the knock-on. They're going to try a little chip.
Lovely chip too, gathered by May. Barrels his way into Steenson. Back inside the Chiefs' half. Quick hands from Youngs to Ford. Wide on the outside is Tuolangi, who's relishing the battle today. Importantly for Leicester fans, he's seeing plenty of ball. Kvesic with the steal, but previously...
Yeah, Witten off the ball over the top, has to roll away. Leicester going quickly.
It's Genge. On the occasion of his 50th start for Leicester, in goes Williams. Was there an arm wrap there? It's gone forwards.
Tom, there's another quiet word. At first it was Alice, now it's your brother. So just hear me out, mate.
Yeah, fine, yeah.
This is a lot of appealing. They're just appealing me and everything. So if it happens again, the next one will be a penalty.
Okay.
Okay?
Appealing
For everything. No arms, knock-ons. So if you can deal with them, please, it stops me having to penalise them.
There was arms on
Thank you.
that tackle, no problem.
We checked there was arms, so...
We've got
Okay, so it's the chat, isn't it? It's the assistance that Luke Pearce is finding
Maybe.
in his ears.
I think the adrenaline on Leicester is so high. They know that they're in this fight. They're excited by it. Everyone is chopsing, and the referee's absolutely right to tell them, through the captain, shut up, let me referee it. Were there arms? Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Absolutely, there's arms.
I should imagine that feels really nice when you hit low like that by Williams and high by Armand at the same time.
Uses his arms, the other player misses it.
Just does a somersault slide, doesn't he?
Okay.
He's braced for it.
Straight next to them.
Oof.
Is there any worse sight? Before Christmas, come on.
That's the timing.
Tuolangi at full speed and angry.
Thing is, he's running that fast that actually you've only got to get something on him and he's going to trip over. He's never going to be able to keep his balance.
Yeah, they're actually grinning and smiling with each other, so the spirit is good, even if the collisions are utterly brutal. What a great half hour. Pressure coming on here from the Tigers pack. It's a Chiefs penalty, though.
Number 1 is pulling his jersey to ground.
One back for Harry Williams.
Yeah. Number 1 pulling Three's jersey to the floor.
One each.
Just the length of the bind of Ellis Genge. It starts really long and then you can see just pulls it back, his head goes down towards the ground. That's painted the picture in the referee's mind, and then the elbow drops again. Perhaps there might have been wiser to stop attacking a little bit.
Lovely line-out ball for the Chiefs to work with. Was that forward to Vermeulen? Penalty to the Tigers.
I think that's gone the wrong way. I think Callum Athoni hangs in there in the tackle, which allows Taufua to get the body position. And then Devoto has to go off his feet to try and win the collision.
Hang on, Ben. Hang on, Ben. You okay?
Just watch Callum Athoni after he makes the initial tackle and what that allows Taufua to do. Hangs in there. I suppose, to be fair, Devoto does get himself slightly out of position and has to come in from the side a little bit, so maybe there's 2 penalties on offer there.
Yeah, they're both simultaneous, aren't they? I think that we haven't mentioned much about Taufua other than the try that he took very well. But what I think he does do, he enables Callum Athoni to not be the only really big physical man in the back row. He gives them that added guy. So Callum Athoni for the last 2-3 seasons has taken way too much of the workload, but having that guy there means he can take a little bit less, then physically step up defensively, as we saw there.
Same is true of having Lavanini and Spencer carrying hard too. I mean, how many carries has Lavanini got to his name now? Only 4 nominally, but he seems to have been popping up in lots of different places. And Callum Athoni will be glad of assistance on that carrying front. So Jacques Vermeulen is restored.
Do you think Rob Baxter said, oh, he's found a brilliant kick, but do you think Rob Baxter said, go out and find me the 2 biggest South African men you possibly can, when Vermeulen and Kirsten arrived? This is exactly what you want from your international standard 10.
Just going back to your point about Callum Athoni and how much he's had to do, he's actually made the least carries, and for the last 2 years he's been the player who's made the most carries in the Premiership across all teams, and today he's actually, bar Callum Green, made the least carries in the forward pack. This isn't great for Exeter, though.
Now, this is a very disappointing sign for the Chiefs. Henry Slade is coming off the field rather delicately. An injury substitution replaced by Sam Hill. So we're going to be denied any further instalments of the Slade v Tuolangi contest. Tigers have done their job at line-out time. And they're looking menacing here. Chiefs are splintering. There is a penalty advantage. Ben Youngs wants it and has it. Forward for Lavanini. Bouncing off Hill.
Advantage Leicester.
Callum Athoni. Forward. Tries to thread the dummy through, the grubber through, but back we go for the first offence.
I think he took a little knock in the back when he took that
Number
high
5,
pass.
change his mind.
What he's done so well this afternoon is recognise space in behind that really aggressive Chiefs defensive line. Little chip for Johnny May, little grubbers in behind for the break for Tuolangi. Crossfield kick. Using the attacking kicking game where it really is useful.
He's varied things really nicely, hasn't he? And they're going to have a shot at goal from here as we bear down on half-time. So much seems to have happened inside 34.5 minutes. George Ford, a commanding presence at 10 today in a reinvigorated Leicester side.
He's been one of the main reasons for it. Good control, crossfield kicks, kicked. You know, there's only one time probably they should have kicked when they didn't, when Genge gave away the penalty in the midfield. Apart from that, pretty much a faultless game so far. It was a kiss of death, isn't it? Ben looked at me as if to say, shut up. Mind you, that's a standard look.
Hands together, first in prayer, and then subsequently in applause. 22 points to 14. Ford driving the Tigers on to half-time.
Important Leicester get this kick-off right now. Last one, Woodburn got up there ahead of May. Put Leicester under real pressure.
Spencer through the legs. And Johnny May, where's he off to?
Inside, lads.
Ford.
Hold in front, Leicester.
Fires it deep. No interest in playing from that deep inside the 22, and the pressure relieved very effectively.
Important with his team going backwards that he gets it off the field.
Well, there's the playmaker balance. Leicester 49% off George Ford, normally only 22% for Leicester. And look at that, 70% off 9. Tells you that the Leicester Tigers are putting in their defensive effort around the breakdown.
Johnny Hill taps it away from Maunder. This is Sam Hill. A load of dummy runners and coming bustling through is Moon very effectively. Kirsten. Bit of width. Nice shot of the ball from Devoto. A despairing lunge from Leicester. He's not too far away. Gets up and goes again. Maunder screaming for it. Kirsten flattened. And once more, they're in pole position here, Exeter. Tigers doing everything they can to thwart this attack. This relentless, close-range battery. Vermeulen, held by Lavanini. How important could this try be if it comes for the Chiefs? 2.5 minutes to the break. Very narrow, all except Woodburn, but the Tigers over the top of it and securing the turnover. Cheered as strong as the tries today.
Well, it needed to be made because the nervousness around this ground when Exeter get onto Leicester's 5-metre line and that wave after wave comes in. You have to find a big play. Someone has to come up with something or the inevitable is going to happen.
I think Justice's serve there was potentially a high hit on the line, but I don't think anything in it. But when Devoto made that amazing break on the outside, it looked to me like he was held in the tackle by May and got back to his feet. They broke Leicester a little bit too easily here for my money on the outside for the first time. Overrun by Manu. Really good tackle by May, but he's made the tackle, it's completed, he's got hold of his foot and he gets back to his feet. You can't do that. So I think it's just desserts. Got his head on the wrong side though. If you're any kid watching that, you don't really want to put your head on that side.
Good pressure from Armand. Starting to really get to Leicester's line out now. Leicester coming up with the accuracy at the moment and getting the penalty as a result, but Tom Youngs will be a little bit nervous going into the second half that Armand's just starting to get into the danger zone of his throw. If that's not 100% double top, it's getting picked off. Such a big threat at the front of the lineup.
6 of the last 7 penalties going against Exeter. There's the charge sheet.
No, one of your mates did, but you landed on him.
I'd be surprised if Leicester don't try and force a penalty here. So you either go to a line-out drive or just send Manu Tuolangi straight up the middle and try and create phase play. Maybe nothing too complicated.
Claimed again by Lavanini.
Thanks, Paul.
There he is again, hungry for work as the half draws to a close. Clock in the red now. Calamafoni. Held by Tayone. Still they probe that shorter side. Taufua wrapped up by Vermeulen. The ball is loose. Squirting around the place. Noel Reid drops on it for Leicester. And Youngs tries to get it away. It's fallen initially to Witten and then to Kirsten. I think he was trying to hoof that off the pitch.
He was, yeah.
Instead, it's allowed decent field position for Exeter. Sam Hill thinks about the long pass, thinks otherwise. Calamafoni makes the tackle. Maunda for Steenson. Kirsten. Witten again. Lassoed by Taufua.
Onside, Leicester.
Still they keep coming.
6.
Deep into the red, and we've got a man down injured here. Hence the shrill blast on the whistle. Looks like Will Spencer who's in trouble.
Yeah.
I think he gets hit on the hand badly.
Because it's down because of his injury. Okay.
Well, maybe it's something else actually, but
Yeah, it's friendly fire. He's got walloped. He's got walloped by his own man in Callum Green.
I think it was the roll afterwards that was right in front of the referee and just didn't look like a natural roll of someone that was okay.
Harry Wells would be the man covering lock on the bench for the Tigers.
Yeah, they've obviously also got the option of
Yeah,
moving Callum Green into the second row, but looks like they want to keep that line-out presence, particularly with the threat of Armand we were just talking about.
Oz.
well, whilst we're getting some treatment, let's take a look back to the Exeter try actually and why they're so good. This is actually a really good hit by Wells. Little bit of a positive hit, but if you watch the not by Wells, sorry, by Spencer, but if you watch how they clear out back against the grain. What that does is it opens up the opposite side for a really clear run and pick up from the breakdown. Chiefs do that time and time again, and it makes it really difficult because for a defensive guy, you're making an inside tackle on an outside shoulder, and that's momentum-wise, that's really tough to stop. If you watch them when they get into the red zone, they clear out from the outside of the ball back over the top of the ruck, so anyone who's tight on that ruck who would have acted as guard gets cleared back into the ruck. It's very clever play in the red zone. That's why they're so good at it.
You're the experts, boys. No worries. I'll go on your advice.
Wells preparing for action, and Spencer back to his feet.
So for now we play on. Okay.
Medics are content, referee content.
They're the dogs, lads.
Just the doctor saying there that unless we get a message
Okay,
that something's
time
been
on.
seen on the video, he's okay to play. So they'll be checking on the
Don't put
iPads
too much weight through on the bind,
the
please.
replays that we've
Okay?
seen.
And I'll pick his bind up as well.
And then
So not too much weight, pick your bind up.
you can always call him off for a head injury assessment if need be.
So can Exeter make anything of this last bit of possession of this first half?
Time off, sorry lads. Will, you're going for a HIA, mate. The independent
he's off.
job has caught you off.
Yep, there's
Sorry,
the
HIA on number 5. Sorry, fellas, to mess
the
you around.
intervention. That's the system working as it should.
Exactly right. Yeah, the medics haven't seen it, haven't had access to the replays. Someone independent is checking them, has decided that the movement we talked about needs further investigation. He'll now go off. He's got 12 minutes to complete the head injury assessment against his baseline scores. If he passes, we'll see him in the second half. If he doesn't, Harry Wells will stay on.
Crouch!
Well into the 45th minute.
Too early, Exeter.
And a free kick to Leicester, and that will come as a great relief, you feel, to the Tigers at this point. Keen to maintain their 8-point buffer as they head to the dressing rooms. What a thrilling first half here at Welford Road. Tigers reinvigorated, big players stepping up. The likes of Ford and May and Tuolangi right at the forefront, and they lead the Exeter Chiefs by 22 points to 14 at the break.
Well, they cheered the Leicester Tigers off the pitch at half-time after a really good first 40 minutes. They currently lead 22-14 against the Chiefs. Our thoughts, by the way, are with all the people affected by these awful fires in New South Wales. It really is tough for them over there at the moment. The Strikers against Sydney Thunder Big Bash game was cancelled last night. They are set to go ahead tomorrow with the Sixers against Heat. That's 8 a.m. on BT Sport 1 from the 20 Big Bash League. You can see that. Hopefully that all goes ahead as planned. Right, let's get stuck into this second half. A really entertaining first 40. To talk us through the second, Austin Healy, Ben Kay and Ali Eakin.
What a 40 minutes in front of us. Tigers going so well, so confident, so different to so much of what we've seen in recent times here at Welford Road. But Chiefs very much in touch, and Ben so dangerous when they're 5 metres out that this is a long, long way from being done from a Leicester perspective.
Absolutely. Every time they get down there, the Chiefs have the ability to score or at least get a penalty, so this is not a big enough cushion for the Tigers at the moment.
Johnny May with 2 tries to his name already today. Some sublime finishing.
Outside.
And indicative of the way the big name players, the international players, have really come to the fore this afternoon. And there's another Tuolangi slamming Stuart Hogg in the tackle. And there's some work to be done here by Devoto. Harry Williams enjoying his contest with Ellis Genge at scrum time. Now locking horns with Tom Youngs in the loose.
Exeter.
A reminder that Will Spencer went off for their head injury assessment. He's failed that, so Harry Wells is on for good now in the second row for Leicester. Up she goes, and it's off the chest of Vayanu.
2 knock-ons. Scrum, Exeter.
Just looking back to that Tuolangi tackle, the box kick from Ben Youngs was just a little bit too long, but you watch what Tuolangi does. He does this so well. You can't quite see from this angle, but he slows down as the ball's coming down and then just accelerates into the tackle.
Put the weight straight through.
Just watch him, slows down, he knows he's got it, then he steps on the pace. It's really good chase.
I mean, Hogg does really well to get the ball back up to Kovacic, but the last thing you want is Tuolangi flying towards that with Hogg just enough time to step in, because there's no one better at stepping out of tackles like that. Is that
blood change, yeah.
And it has been over the years, hasn't it? It has been a bit of an issue for Tuolangi at times. He gets so overexcited at the prospect of a big shot that sometimes he does fly in a little bit early, but they're timed to perfection.
You know what it's like, the older you get, it's harder to get excited.
important scrum, this, that battle.
So the one just before half-time was hit and chase. Just wait for the ball, please.
The referee just talking about the hit and chase free kick to end the last half.
Okay, slow cadence.
Change in the second in the front row.
Let's not be too fussy.
Billy Keystone, he'll go against Dan Cole, but that battle between Williams and Genge, as we looked at the beginning of the game, is where a lot of the problems that Luke Pearce needs to sort out have been.
That's a blood replacement for the moment. Billy Keystone for Ben Moon on the Exeter loose head.
Much slower cadence on the calling, just trying to make sure it's secure. It's gone down on the far side.
Yeah, far side is the problem.
Far side is exactly what we talk about. It's height.
Okay.
Height.
Just looking at the benches, Ben. Do you expect Genge and Cole to stay on longer than normal? Normally you'd see 50, 55, but the way it's going, maybe a bit longer.
Certainly, you'd probably think to 60, but
Come on.
yeah,
Let's
And
scrum in
Ganga,
the air. Let's get scrums
the
completed.
guy that'll come on for Dan Cole. I was speaking to Tom Youngs, he really rates him. Chigenio as well, Argentinian scrummager. So they're going to have to make changes at some point. It's not as strong a changes as Exeter you might often have seen over the previous years as well.
Bind. Set. Exeter.
It's altogether
Use
cleaner.
it.
Maunder under pressure from Youngs, got it away to Steenson. Here's Devoto, holds it back and Hill clings on. So too does Noel Reid in the tackle. Here's Vermeulen, snared by Wells. Straight over the top of the ball, Lavanini contesting. Hill, Devoto, hard and straight into Noel Reid again. Vermeulen for Kirsten. Putting the building blocks in place here. Exeter, you feel. Sam Hill through a hole. Lovely burst from Hill. Inside the 22. And now the red lights will start to blink for the Leicester Tigers. Steenson pops it on its way. Thunderous shot coming in from Jordan Tafua. But the penalty's been awarded,
Tackle
not
timing
rolling
was
away.
perfect, but you can't end like that.
That was a hell of a tackle. Had to make more of an
Tackle
effort to get
timing,
out
no problem, but 7
once
must
he'd
roll
done
away.
that job.
Yeah, it's a great shot. Catches him man and ball, but
Post goal.
stands up into position and then gets barreled back over the top of the ball carrier. Hill does well to get immediately back to his feet, but there, that's what's going to do him. Jump kicked back onto the top of the ball.
Looks to be some addition, doesn't he? Jordan Tafua, and interesting to see the discipline that the Tigers have been abiding by in the course of this match. That's only the 3rd penalty they've conceded.
Well, Key, although they're taking the easy points here, Key again against Exeter, who will kick into the corner, will test you with that driving play.
Steenson chiseling away for the Chiefs.
Yeah, one thing the Chiefs do really well around the fields, when their forwards get in front of the ball as decoy runners, you've got Armand and Hill here. They run the outside shoulder lines and they don't stop. They make sure they carry it through and just block both of their guys ever so slightly. Just a little dink on Cole, and that creates half a gap. But they do that really well across the field. Nobody does a wasted dummy line. They always see their job through. That's why they create so many gaps.
Devoto. The weather has just worsened a little bit through this second half, and again it's Tuolangi firing into Exeter, all guns blazing.
Be an indication of what the Toronto Wolfpack saw in him.
Crossfield, brilliantly gathered by Tafua. Off the deck for Thompson, space here for Reid. Tackle comes in from Kirsten, but they're beyond halfway. Quick ball, Exeter very quickly up in defence. Suspiciously quick from a Leicester perspective. Welford Road making that abundantly clear as well. That's gone forwards from Youngs.
Oh, that's a bad decision. In behind, and then you get all the lazy runners coming back, blocking the lines off. It was such a good carry from Wells in the midfield. He was taking the ball behind and still made ground. But then as you come back, I'm sorry, there's a slight touch from an offside man. He's offside. It's not massive, it's not overly evident, but he's offside and he's in the way.
Yes, I'm in the way.
Ruthless shake of the head from Jordan Murphy.
But, you know, they're the things that become a massive deal when your confidence isn't up. Things will have gone against Exeter in this game, and they'll just ride them, they'll go with them, they'll say we'll just have to go again. That's where Leicester now have to be. Have to just go on to the next job, try and win this scrum, and then get up and tackle. They've certainly done that.
Huge scrum from Leicester. Genge warming to his team alongside Tom Youngs and Dan Cole.
If he's in range here, I think you've got to kick it, or at least give it a go. Maybe we're just outside of Ford's range, because to take yourself back to the 2 scores would be crucial.
Pretty good kick into the corner. There's the far side. You can see Keith going right up. The weight from behind him is preventing him going backwards. And there was only one direction that his backside could go. Bent in half and popped up in the air. And a big line out for Tom Youngs now. Talked about the threat defensively that Exeter have.
Oh, they go to compete, and it's stolen by Armand.
Onside, Leicester.
First time that the Tigers have lost their own line-out ball.
Exeter.
How critical might that prove? Don Armand swept up to gather it in, and Maunda sends up a towering kick, claimed by Thompson, who's enveloped by the arms of Ian Whitten. Ford, Lavanini pops it on its way. Taufua. Quick ball for Youngs and Ford again. Noel Reid.
Bit isolated, Leicester. Opportunity for Exeter to attack the breakdown.
Wells picks up low, carries low. Ford again holds it back for Vayanu and Tom Youngs. Nice low chop tackle from Maunda, but they're beyond the 10-metre line now.
Blue, that was a penalty against Leicester.
Lovely handling again from Taufua to Kalamafoni.
Where you are now.
And our TMO Rowan Kidd has intervened here.
Said there's a tackle off the ball.
Kitty, just show it for me on the screen, please.
Yeah, we'll get it for you now.
I think it's a penalty to Exeter for a takeout by Leicester. I just want to see it, okay?
Yes, against Taufua. Just runs an outside line.
Bit of obstruction there by the guy with the scrum hat.
It doesn't change his line.
There's no attempt to avoid him here.
Yeah, miles in front of the ball. Tom, it's going to be a penalty against that guy with
you
the
see
scrum
the
hat for
difference there
obstruction.
with what we
No.
the difference that we showed with the Exeter lines. They just only nudge you ever so slightly, so it's not overly evident, but it takes you half a yard or 1 yard away from where you would normally be. That's obviously way too evident.
There's a difference between taking someone out and making someone have to run round you.
Ben Moon ready to return.
Just be careful with that line, okay?
And they're fired back up towards that 22. Moon with 4 stitches now under his eye. One of the few remaining players, of course, who played with the Chiefs back in the Championship days. Toyoni for Armour, not clean this time. That's gone forwards from Maunda. It's a let-off for Leicester. And here comes Lavanini. Becoming more popular in these parts with every single carry. Ford. Tester for Hogg. Claimed, so calm.
Claimed and beat 2 Leicester tacklers as well.
Absolute racket all around him. Quick transfer from Steenson to Hill. A little bit of space in front of him. Hill wrestling with Callum Green. Kvesic thought about the tip on. Took the contact himself. Taufua over the top of it. He's really making life difficult at the breakdown. Here goes Devoto on the outside arc. And Tuolangi makes the tackle. Welcome back, Ben Moon. Johnny Hill. Strong work at close quarters.
Advantage, slowing down too.
Steenson with a penalty advantage. Here's Stuart Hogg looking to create a bit of space for Sam Hill. On goes
Still
Whitten.
advantage.
Chases on, across comes Vayanu.
No advantage, back we come.
All the way back to me.
And they'll take the penalty advantage, which is a long, long way back.
And stop.
Yeah, Tom Young's just got caught whether to try and roll out the way or stay in there and stay low. You can see there he makes the tackle, starts to get up and move, and then goes back down.
Not for the minute, thanks.
It does get milked a bit by Maunda, doesn't it?
But what would you expect from a 9? Of course they're going to do that, aren't they?
Austin.
Well, just looking at the defensive play of Thompson, if you watch Dan Cole in the middle here, he goes on a bit of a crusade, actually, defensively. Gets out the line, chases across the field. And this is where Exeter's so dangerous. When you break the defensive line, you get dog legs, they take you apart. But watch what Thompson does. He comes forward and just gets in the eye of Hill, stops the outside pass, allows the inside defence to fill up. Really good wing defence there. Because a lot of wingers would have backed off a little bit earlier. But he goes forward, gets in the sight, and then drops off. Really good play. But that's where the Chiefs are brilliant. When they're going side to side like that, they don't mind balls going back behind them. They don't like little bounce passes. They're so good in open field play in the 15 channels. He's put a stint in, hasn't he?
Good pressure at the last line out from Leicester. Exeter just taking a bit of extra time to make sure the call's spot on. He'd like to use Hill, use all his height. Pretty simple moves.
Tony all through the fingertips of Kovacic, and it's Leicester ball. And the lineouts are going awry as the pressure rises and the clock ticks on.
And things are going Leicester's way. That's a penalty all day long to the Chiefs for playing the arm at the lineouts from behind. You watch him, he gets up behind, just hits the inside arm, takes it away. All day long, that's a penalty.
Yeah, Luke, he actually plays his hand in the air there.
Hang on, so he's saying it's a penalty against
Penalty
Leicester?
against Leicester at
So-
the line out.
Tigers thought it
Well,
was
we can
theirs.
as part of our team, okay? So we've seen it on the replay, and it's a clear tug on the arm, but we can when we do.
What, they've appealed?
They haven't appealed. It's like...
Foul play.
If you spot
It's
foul
like
play,
I checked your try in the first half. Foul play,
the
contact
officials are empowered to do something about it.
in the air. Contact to the line.
It won't be popular in these parts, but
It's right.
it's correct.
It's something I would actually like to see the law just go back a little bit from. It's a bit like those kicks in the air where two people are actually competing for the ball. If you can get your hand up near the ball,
Nothing in the air, okay?
yeah, he takes it slightly.
No, of course.
But I'd like to see more competition in the air. I think the safety angle I get, but I'd like to see a little bit more competition in the air. But certainly with how the game's being refereed at the moment, that's a clear-cut penalty.
So Johnny Hill secures the line-out possession. Harry Wells is right in the thick of it, though, stymieing this Chiefs attack. How well he's done. He's done brilliantly well. And he may well have saved the Tigers' bacon. Off the bench and a vital intervention, so close to the try line.
He's very good at that, Harry Wells. He's a real grafter of a player, but tough as well, and he breaks the gap between lifter and jumper. Manages to get through on Kovacic, who's ripped the ball, and then once he's got him, there's no way he's going to let him go. Keeps him low. Eventually, Kovacic takes the knee, and he just rolls the ball. But again,
That's one of the laws you're going to
another
change
law
tomorrow
I'd like
night.
to change.
Let's bring in Rob Baxter, the Chiefs Director of Rugby. Rob, we've just been mentioning the set piece, which is seemingly was always critical, but it seems to be more and more important as this match wears on, and things just beginning to drift away in that department for you. Line-out time on a couple of occasions, and a little bit the scrum as well.
Some games have ebb and flow, don't they? They have ebb and flow. You know, we've got to. What you've got to do is make sure that you kind of get the flow back your way as soon as you can. You know, it's a challenging game for us. We knew it would be. I'm really pleased with the character we're showing to kind of stay tough and hang on in there and keep fighting. We look like we've got scores in us if we play well and we stick to what we do. At the same time, Leicester look strong and they look like they're determined to work very hard for their win today as well. I think it's a humdinger of a game, and I think, you know, like I say, it's going to have some ebb and flow.
Thanks for your time, Rob.
Thank you.
I think we better concentrate on the job in hand, given where we are on the field. Very strong scrummage again, picked up by Calamafoni. Runs hard at Steenson and Maunder. Ford under pressure, got it away. Kovacic wasn't too far away. Witten for Hogg. Stuart Hogg, those dancing feet, those flashing blue boots. Steenson for Devoto. Beyond the gain line again, it's Lavanini making a right old muddle of things at the breakdown. Here's Dave Dennis, newly onto the field for Kirsten picks up ball, but pushed forwards by Matt Kvesic as he gathered it in.
Well, one thing that has been a lot stronger from Leicester tonight has been the competition at every single breakdown. And just slowing the ball enough to make it difficult for the scrum half, Maunder.
So, yeah.
And he'll be disappointed that he doesn't get that more effectively to Kvesic, but Leicester's certainly not just giving up the ball to Exeter, letting them get settled. They're having to put more bodies in than occasionally they want to, which means they're under-resourced at the next breakdown.
I know you're not. I want to play with
You're welcome to send your water boys on when they're getting treatment. Everyone up?
Can't imagine Leicester now at this scrum are going to be thinking anything other than penalty.
There's Henry Slade, who's obviously not all that comfortable after a busy first half, locking horns with Manu Tuolangi and others. We hope it's a short-term arrangement and a speedy recovery. A reminder that round 6 of the Premiership continues tomorrow. London Irish Bath from 2:30 from the Medeski, followed swiftly by Gallagher Premiership tonight from 5:15 in the company of Wayne Barnes. Christmas Day, 8 o'clock. Rugby tonight on tour, Christmas special, looking back at the year so far. And Friday at 10 o'clock, Stop the Tour. It's a special BT Sport Films programme on how sport helped bring an end to apartheid in South Africa. Fascinating story. 10 o'clock Friday evening.
I will penalise them if I think you're taking the hit.
Classic case there, Ben.
Make sure we're matching it, please.
They've lost the last 2 scrums. They said, right, we're going to win the hit.
Come on, let's go. Let's go.
From the Chiefs.
Let's go.
Good from the referee, speeding it up, actually. It's another big gripe, isn't it? How long the resets are taking. He's saying, no, hurry up.
That's why it's not a penalty.
Surprised everybody around him on asleep there.
Former Tigers captain, of course, Martin Corrie.
Looks like he's had a tough week of Christmas parties, doesn't he?
There's Kyle Cooper. He's warming up, ready to come on at hooker for the Chiefs. He's on loan at the moment from Newcastle. And again, Tigers having things their own way at scrum time. They'd like a penalty. Callum Afoni for Thompson.
Okay, tackle 8. There it is.
Genge. Whitten underneath this. Really good chase from Thompson. It's fallen though for Dennis. Found himself at the right place at the right time. Maunder wants territory, understandably. Is Veanu. Oh. Flattened by Armand. Picked up by Genge.
Just bought time there, Genge, didn't he? Lifted it, but stayed still, didn't try and do too much. Knew that they were short of numbers.
Good backfield coverage from Whitten, who's going hell for leather here. He's just slowing up, trying to find a little bit of space. Tom Youngs makes the tackle. Vermeulen for Hill. Another monstrous tackle. Another big intervention from Harry Wells. The ball has been kept alive, though, nicely by the Chiefs, and Hogg is stepping. Taione. Little show of the ball from Kvesic. This is really slick from the Chiefs. Taione bumping his way through the defenders, and he's got it away nicely as well. Inside the 22 through Stuart Hogg. Out off the deck for Devoto. Needs some support players here. Moon. The props in tandem inside the 22. Bustling forward, Sam Hill. Johnny Hill. Maunder keeping the tempo high. This is Woodburn. Every man on deck defensively here for the Tigers, with the Roar in behind them and the ball in behind Steenson. There's trouble. Hill again, heading for double figures on the phase front. Maunda for Woodburn, slipping through 2. No way through Vayanu. Quick ball though.
Yeah, Hogg screaming for it on the left wing.
It's heading his way. Devoto holds it back for Hill. Whitten, Hogg, 3 defenders covering. Stepping through the middle. Maunda caught. Great work from Ford. Most phases either side have been through. And now the Chiefs within their striking range again. Armand over the ball. Moon pops it on its way. Driving up to the line. No clear sight just yet. The show and the go and the try.
It's relentless, isn't it? Once they get in the red zone, how good are they at pushing you back? Carry after carry, metre after metre. And it's just one little stretch they are from Don Armand that gets them back on level terms. They are just lethal in the red zone. It's a slight slip from Dan Cole, slightly too wide.
Yes, definitely a try. TMO just looking at that for the grounding, but absolutely a try. But as you said, Austin, it's almost they're so calm. You can put shot in after shot. George Ford knocks someone back, but phase after phase, eventually they know they're going to get to the line. And they've got the power of players like Armand, but not just the power, that the guile as well, to dip under someone that you know is going to have to come out and hit you as hard as they can.
Comes from the top, doesn't it? We had Baxter's interview. He was basically just saying, we just got to be calm and go through the phases, and if it happens, it will happen. And that mentality breeds through the players. There's no panic in that zone. Their heart rate only goes up because of their work rate, not because of the pressure. And you really see it in the red zone there with them. You could hit them back 5 yards and they'll just go, oh, well, that's 5, we'll go again.
What's he asking about?
Brilliant from them.
Okay, man. Okay.
And for the first time since the 8th minute of the match, the Chiefs back in front, leading by 24 points to 22, and a brace now for Don Armand.
Yeah, substitution just being made. Peloton now coming on for Tom Youngs, I think. Has maybe just been a slight bit of fatigue starting to creep into Leicester's defence. Few people falling off tackles. They need a little bit of energy bringing back, because the first half it was really good. Just Exeter starting to carve them up a little bit more in midfield and get into those danger spots.
So Peloton now for Youngs at hooker for Leicester. A couple of changes for the Chiefs as well. Stuart Townsend is on at scrum half for Jack Maunda. And we've got Kyle Cooper on at hooker for Elvis Tayoni. Another excellent kick.
No, it's not.
Not?
No, it's just poor from Tigers. They've allowed Chiefs way too easy exit strategy from the restarts. That's 3 occasions now, twice by Devoto. Yes, it's a great kick, but there's no pressure on him because the kick's too flat, it's too far. We had a couple from Slade in the first half. Restart's about applying pressure, trying to win the ball back, turning it 50-50, or at the very least saying, right, get out of a really dark corner at Welford Road.
Well, over the top, and Kyle Cooper has it. That was Pelotonar's first, and it did not go to plan. Johnny Hill is on the ball, and Stu Townsend has it. And there is yet more trouble here for Leicester, seemingly. Kovacic. 3 tries each. Next one's the bonus point. Muscular work from Cooper. Townsend keeping it quick, whipping that ball away. Moon plays provider. Steenson, Hill, Johnny Hill on the outside, powering forwards. There's the try bonus point for Exeter. They've had to absorb so much from Leicester today, but they are applying their own pressure now.
Well, a couple of moves Austin talked about, the easy kick out, then they bomb the line out, and Exeter in the 22, exactly where you don't want them. They hit into midfield, and they come back to the outside. Hills remain there from the line out, and just goes one-on-one against the smallest player on the pitch, probably George Ford. Nothing that Johnny May can do to assist. Goes high on him, lifts him off his feet, and he knows he's going to win that collision. He only needs to win it by a metre or so.
Great celebration
I think he
shots as
enjoyed it.
well. Enjoying that moment with Stu Townsend. Johnny Hill, his third try in the Premiership this season. He's been fast improving. One-time tourist with with England to South Africa a couple of summers ago.
It's a massive kick, this. Huge kick in the context of the game. 15 minutes on the clock.
And Gareth Steenson is just not missing at the moment. 22 kicks on the spin for Steenson, and they're beyond a converted try now, Exeter. 31 points to 22 they lead.
And said it, you can't compound an error with another error, and then get no defensive line speed, particularly against the Chiefs. They are just brilliant at applying pressure. They sniff blood and take advantage.
Hogg always given that everything, absolutely everything. And again, the restart from a Tigers perspective ends up, well, they barely made it inside the Chiefs' half thanks to the clearance.
The pressure was better this time. It's not gone quite as far, but they need to make sure they get this line out right. Callum Green just calling the troops away, making sure everyone has got it. Ellis Genge will pass on the information to Pallotta now.
Tommy Raffel is on in place of Jordan Tafur in the back row for Leicester now. And here's Pallotta now. That wasn't even close to being straight. Lavanini has it though, and Luke Pearce remains unmoved. Here's Tuolangi. Forward. Onwards through Kalamafoni. Busting forwards. Full of endeavour. Lavanini again, well held by Don Armand and Harry Williams.
It's your own man trapping the ball in.
Kalamafoni again on the carry. Nobody carried more in the Premiership last season. Forward. Clever one in between Hogg and Witten.
Always in.
Scotland fullback again giving that the treatment. Vayano waits. And takes the pragmatic option.
Yeah, tactic probably of Exeter's and Hogg there, just to kick it towards Vayano, make sure it hits grass so he can't run onto it, and then tempt him to counter-attack. They know it's his natural instinct, he wants to go, and they'll back themselves to catch Leicester, catch Vayano in his own half, and try and get the ball back and attack again.
Just looking back to that try and the work rate of Woodburn, actually, he almost makes the try, you could argue. Starts off on the left-hand side of the field. Look where he runs to, all the way to the far side. He keeps going, it goes through one more phase, he keeps going. But as he gets to the outside, he becomes a crucial man, because now May has to step in on him and he can't drift to the pass. That creates this enough space for Hill to go over. Great work by Hill, lovely play by the Chiefs, but all about work rate off the ball.
Johnny Hill's off, and Sean Lonsdale is on. He's been deployed at Lochand in the back row by the Chiefs before now. Dave Dennis claims possession. And they're motoring with this drive here, Exeter. Held at the back by Cooper.
Moon doing a really good job of keeping Callum Green out of the way.
Out it comes, Sam Hill combining nicely with Steenson. Chiefs on the front foot here. Here's Hogg, rounding his man, holding it there for Woodburn. Tackle from Vayano, picked up by Witten, and forwards.
Knock on the floor.
Fractionally forwards on the ground. Just easing through the gears at this point though, aren't they? Exeter have done the absorption job.
Just look how much ground they make though. Backing off, keep backing off. The line-out's on the 10-metre line. They're over the 22 before anyone lays a finger on any one of the Chiefs' backs.
They have to back off though, don't they? Because
well, you don't have to back off in that scenario.
So many had committed to the maul because they hadn't done the job right at the beginning of the maul.
Yeah, but if you stay connected as the first three, you can keep going forward, so you can't get the play out the back. If you don't stay connected, then they can get the ball out the back, and that's what you saw. One person doing one job, one person doing another. All three of you stay, you can keep blitzing them through, and you tackle them 10 metres behind the tackle line.
There's some big numbers on the tackle front for the Leicester Tigers, but they have to keep it up. But at the moment, pointless as the score stands as we head into the final 10 minutes. For all their excellence in that first half, here's Kalamafoni again. Forward, Tuolangi, through the hole, bursting forwards and stepping, dismissing Stuart Townsend and Matt Kvesic. That was 2 in 1. Here's Lavanini, options here for the Tigers. Ford, Genge, back into the traffic. Kalamafoni, Ford again for Noel Reid. Did well to hang on to that one.
Did really well there.
Vayanu. Big tackle coming in from Armand. And there's disruption on the ground, but not enough to deny Leicester the ball. Rafael feeds Ford and Kalamafoni.
Chiefs have reset their defensive line, haven't they now? Applying pressure. Leicester playing back in their own half around the 10-metre line.
Here's Genge again, trying to build the momentum once more after that blistering break from Tuolangi. Lavanini is brought down. Ford, Reid. Johnny May, buffeted in the tackle. They just keep on coming, those in white.
It's not going anywhere. Ford might be well advised here to...
Little chip kick. Get one of your wingers in behind you. Put a little chip kick over. Nobody in the backfield for Chiefs. Nobody behind that front line.
Oh, Hogg's very deep,
He's
isn't
seen
he?
it. Ford's seen it.
And he's going to use Kalamafoni one more time.
He needs a chaser. You can have the kick, but you need a chaser.
Punches it in behind Ollie Woodburn. Woodburn feeds Hogg. And Hogg might like the look of this from here, beyond halfway.
Brilliant from Rafael. Isolated against Hogg.
Sharp work from Townsend. Threads it through, Woodburn's after it. Chasing Cole. Ford opens it up again. Here's Vayanu. Breathless passage of play at the moment. There it is for Ford. Here's Wells. Buried in the tackle by Armand again. He's having a very strong game. Pelota now holds it back. Popped up, but to nobody. And Ford is being buffeted here inside the 22. Plenty of pressure piling on.
Onside.
Townsend has it for Exeter.
Offside. Advantage,
And there's a
offside.
penalty advantage. And the crossfield kick will beat
Offside.
everybody.
4 and 11.
4,
Well,
11.
I think there's disbelief around the stands at Welford Road that they continued playing then. Far too many phases when it wasn't going anywhere. They were under real pressure. People forcing the issue on their own 22. And that desperation to get another score after the Manu Tuolangi break.
Time's off.
Yeah, we said it before the game, didn't we? When Leicester are going forward, Ford and Youngs are sensational. When they start to get hit or parity around the 10-metre line, they sort of lose their way. You need a reset play. You just shout to one of your wingers, get in behind me, put a little dink over, and you change the whole context of the defensive pattern of the match. This guy's got a lot to work on, but so have his halfbacks.
But also the Tuolangi break, if you watch, it's a great break. But after he makes it, look where the space is. As we look from the end on, brilliant break, all the white shirts being dragged towards Manu Tuolangi. And that means there's a huge overlap. It goes to Lavanini. It doesn't need to. He has to run that line to hold players, but you can put it behind his back. And there could have been.
And then Genge comes back against where all the defensive line is.
Let's go. Let's go.
A raft of changes has been made by Jordan Murphy. Facundo Jigenya is on at loose head. Lendi Gaga on the tight head. Ben White is on at scrum half, and Tom Hardwick has replaced Noel Reid in the centres as well. So Ellis Genge's day is done. Alongside Dan Cole, and the rain sweeping in and causing trouble at line-out time for the Chiefs.
I'll move, lads. I'll move. Under advantage. Advantage over.
Ford feeling the heat right now. Jordan Murphy quite exercised at this point. I know what that's all about. Member of the crowd giving him some grief. Over the top again and swallowed up by Johnny May. And the line-out malfunctioning in these increasingly testing conditions. There it is for White. George Ford pops it over the top. Hogg gathers it clean. Townsend. Steenson. He's got that to bounce in. It's taken quickly and charged down and well beyond the in-goal area.
Yeah, desperation. Trying to play quickly. Brilliant chase. Came from nowhere, Townsend, didn't he? So far back.
There it is.
Hungry for action. Stu Townsend had a long time out of the game, 11 months with ACL trouble with his knee.
It's a great kick. In behind the covering players.
Steenson sends this up for the chase. Vayanu. Stop and go, but he's stopped here by Harry Williams. White. This is Lea Gaga, the replacement tight head. Ford again looking to massage those defences. Rafael, the Welshman, did well. Exeter straight off their feet at the ruck, unpunished. Thompson. Lavanini, oh, that challenge from Dave Dennis didn't look too pretty. Ben White looking for spaces, finding May. Lavanini, oh dear, that's very loose, and Harry Williams will eat that up all day long, and that will allow Exeter right back into the thick of it. Hogg tries the grubber. Thompson for Ford. What's going on here? Interesting little chip kick, hands the ball back. Townsend thinks there might be something on here. Ben White watching this carefully.
And White thinks he was taken out after the chip. Not sure he wanted the ball from George Ford. And that's the problem, isn't it? That Leicester fragility mentally that we talked about when things start to go wrong.
He was taken out after the kick.
But no real direction when Exeter have got themselves this more than one score lead. Just all that energy that was there. It's people looking at each other in their 22 going, well, are you carrying? Am I carrying?
Time is off, please.
You wouldn't get that with the Chiefs.
Stand in front of him, Jack. Stand in front of him, Jack. Lads, relax. Do me a favour. I can't hear myself think at the moment. Just hang on. Ben and Harry, I think you're being changed over. Okay, no, you're not now.
Changes being made.
Okay. Time on.
Kyle Cooper for the Chiefs.
Advantage.
Finds Kvesic and a penalty advantage.
4 and 6. Yep. 4 and 6.
I think
Entry.
they're probably going to stick this back where it came from. Here's
Lads, if you
the
want the line again, you don't have to kick
incident
it.
involving Jordan Murphy and one of the supporters. Now
You want the line again?
everyone's friends again. I look
Okay.
at things.
Line outside. Let's go.
Let's hope so. Anyway,
The line wasn't over, so they can do that.
I'll get some clarification on that a little later on. At the moment,
Time off, please, Paul.
without a losing
it's
bonus
already
point,
started,
even
isn't it?
after playing so
Time
well
on.
in that first half. First half in which they scored their 3 tries, but 2 minutes to play. A 9-point deficit. And Exeter poised again.
Move!
And on comes the drive.
Exeter once.
Tigers have done well to spoil, and again it's Harry Wells in the thick of it. He's lost the ball in contact, but he did very, very well in the first instance.
He's been a big positive for Leicester, actually, since he's come on. His energy, his physicality, he's been very, very good. I think you'll forgive him that end mistake.
Line out, play on, everyone's good.
Just very good at finding little gaps and working his way through. Can see the ball there, just lifts it out. Kovacic probably thinks it's one of his own players taking it off him.
Oh, sorry, no, that was off the first.
That came off Leicester into touch.
So will be Chiefs line-out possession again as they change their props with a minute 20 remaining. Billy Keaston's Enrico Pieretto, the Argentine international, on the field now, but it's gone forwards here from Leicester. It's very scrappy now, isn't it? Had so much fluidity in the first half. Of course, the rain hasn't helped proceedings, but what a valiant effort this has been from Exeter. Champion quality, you've got to say.
I was just thinking the same thing. Come on, come up here. As you said before the game, the atmosphere was rocking. Leicester fans, but finally they're putting a side out that should go on and win this game. They started big, they played some good rugby, but Exeter just rode that storm, did what they're very good at. And there'll be times when Exeter play fantastic rugby this season, light up the Premiership. This didn't need to be one of them, because they've done enough to come away with a bonus point.
Relax. Your band on his arm, pushing him down.
That's a penalty given up by Pieretto, newly on the field, making his Exeter debut and allowing Tigers to clear their lines. There he is. Injuries at the moment to Thomas Francis and Greg Holmes. Time for your man of the match, Austin.
Well, you could have picked any one of the Exeter forwards, or indeed their backs. The way they've gone through this game, they've been fantastic. I thought, obviously, Armand, Tayoni were great, Devoto, but it has to go to Johnny Hill. I think his overall performance around the field is carrying everything. He epitomises everything that's great about the Chiefs. And he's our Gallagher Premiership man of the match.
All about the losing bonus point for Leicester at this point. Rafael has done really well getting them onto the front foot, and of course it would be 2 bonus points if they got their 4th try and got within 7. They could take 2 out of today, and they settle for that. Hardwick is in there, having a little dart through. Calamafoni asked to carry one more time. Clock deep in the red. One mistake finishes it here.
Tackle! Let it go!
White, Ford, Hardwick.
Advantage, knocking the tackle.
Ball dislodged, but with a penalty advantage, having been knocked on in the tackle from the Chiefs.
Good.
Got to keep playing, even if it is from their 22.
Away now. Okay, advantage over from the knock.
Zhigenya.
Don't use your hands.
Calamafoni trying to slip free, but the white wall holding firm. And they're pinning Leicester here inside their 22.
Yeah, they can just be more narrow, can't they? Because the hands aren't as easy in this weather.
Punch through as one final option, but in swoops Hogg and tidies things up for Exeter, who know that their work is done here. Withstanding a Tigers barrage in that first half and powering through after the break. Resilient, unwavering, and winners at Welford Road. Exeter leaving Leicester empty-handed. Much improved, but without a losing bonus. Full time, Leicester 22, Exeter 31.
Well, a slightly different sort of season for Exeter this year, isn't it? They started not quite as well Premiership-wise. Obviously, the World Cup affects that, but they started the European competition so much better this year. They look in really good form there, and they've carried it on into the Premiership. They're slowly eating their way back up to the top of the table, where we fully expect them to be come the end of the year.
We said today would be a defining day for Leicester. I don't think necessarily it was. I know they haven't picked any points up, but there was a defining moment in the game where Ford might have gone for goal, which would have taken them 2 scores ahead. But simply, Ben picked up on it. They just lack that little bit of confidence to see through on what was a very good performance for 60 minutes. Loads of positives for Jordan Murphy to take from this game. No need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Rebuild, get a win, and then build and build the confidence, because there's a makings of a good side out there.
Oh, and they've got their team fully loaded as they were today. They can be a match for pretty much anybody. Quinn's away next up in the big game at Twickenham, and then Bristol at home over the festive period for the Tigers.